Hey guys, B here with our next First Four Friday, and today we are reading the first 4 pages of Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. And this one obviously looks awesome. I am super excited to read you the first 4 pages of this one. And you should know this one just came in the mail to the library to be added to the collection. So it will not be ready immediately after you hear the first 4 pages, but it will be coming soon. So keep an eye out for Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. And first, let me read you an excerpt, or rather, the description of this. Right? Okay. I am Renata Convida. I have lived 100 stolen lives. Now I live my own. Renata was only a child when she was kidnapped by the king's justice and brought to the luxurious palace of Andalusia. As a memory thief, the rarest and most feared of the magical Moria, Renata was used by the crown to carry out the king's wrath, a siege that resulted in the deaths of thousands of her own people. Now, Renata is one of the Whispers, rebel spies working against the crown. The Whispers may have rescued Renata years ago, but she cannot escape their mistrust and hatred, or the overpowering memories of the hundreds of souls she drained during her time in the palace. When Des, the commander of her unit, and the boy she's grown to love, is taken captive by the notorious Príncipe Dorado, Renata must return to Andalusia and complete Des's top-secret mission herself. Can she keep her cover even as she burns for vengeance against the brutal, enigmatic prince? Her life and the fate of the Moria depend on it. But returning to the palace stirs childhood memories long locked away. As Renata grows more deeply embedded in the politics of the royal court, she uncovers a secret in her past that could change the fate of the entire kingdom and end the war that has cost her everything. And here are the first 4 pages. The King's Justice. Order number 1. By order of King Fernando's arm of justice, guardians to the temple of the Father of Worlds, jurors of the truth and warriors of everlasting peace, the citizens of Puerto Leones are prohibited from harboring the Moria, fugitives, murderers, and traitors to the crown. Anyone with knowledge of these wielders of unnatural magics must come forward to the patrols. Those who comply will be shown mercy. The king's will is done. Approved by Justice Mendez, Kingdom of Puerto Leones, year 28 of His Majesty King Fernando's reign, 301 AC of the Third Age of Andalusia. The Grave Robber Song. I dug up a Moria grave to find 2 silver eyes to peer in your mind, 3 golden fingers, illusions I'll cast, 1 copper heart to persuade senses vast, and 4 platinum veils to lock up the past. I dug up a Moria grave. Prologue, 317 AC. Celeste San Marina dug a grave that night. The season's drought had hardened the earth in Esmeraldas, and every strike of her shovel sent pain up her arms, making her muscles twitch and her bones ache. But still she kept digging, dust striking to rivulets of sweat coursing down her weathered tan skin. The half-moon hid behind thick clouds that refused to break, and the only light came from the dying oil lamp beside the body loosely wrapped in linens. Thrusting the shovel back into the ground, she didn't stop until her palms were blistered red and there was a hole deep enough for the body. Then she sank to her knees beside him. You deserve better, Rodrigue, the spymaster said, a tremble in her voice. Had she more warning, more help, she could have given him the traditional burial, but in times like this, an unmarked grave was all they had. She reached around his neck and cut the leather cord that held his almond stone, the single remnant of Rodriguez's legacy, and slipped the jagged white crystal into the pocket sewn inside her gray tunic. The stone rested beside a single glass vial carried by every other Moria spy in the kingdom, right over their heart. How many more secrets would she have to collect before she could rest? Rest was out of the question for that night. With all her strength, Celeste pushed the body into the waiting grave and proceeded to shovel the mountain of earth on top of him. Another dead Moria. Another dead rebel. The horse whinnied and kicked at shadows as Celeste packed up her lamp and shovel. She needed to get back to the village before sunrise. She mounted the steed, sinking her heels into the horse's sides. Wind beat against her face, hooves pounded a trail of dust, and stars sparkled above. With one hand firmly gripping the reins, Celeste kept checking to make sure Rodriguez's almond stone was still in her pocket. All of her hopes and the future of her people were trapped within the bit of rock, mined from veins that ran deep beneath the mountain ranges of the kingdom. Along the cliffs of Memoria, almond stone once dotted the landscape. Now it was as rare as miracles. Once it had been used to build temples and statues of the goddess herself, and cut into dazzling gems and reliquaries by artisans of neighboring lands. But for the Moria, gifted with the powers of the Lady of Shadows, it was always so much more than a stone. Its prisms transformed the surrounding world into living memory. Rodriguez's information was worth dying for. Celeste had to believe that. She prayed to Our Lady of Whispers that was this day help would arrive. It had been 8 days exactly since she'd sent the messenger to the Whispers, and 9 days since Rodriguez had arrived at her doorstep, half dead, with news so terrifying that even her hardened heart had stirred. And that is the end of the first 4 pages. So, Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. You can get this at the library. It'll be ready soon, so keep an eye out on our catalog for this one to be entered in. And yeah, until next Friday, you all have a great day. Be kind, be safe, wash your hands, and we'll see you on Friday. Take care.